First, though, Labor's looking to push through tax changes to super accounts exceeding $3 million. Prime Minister Albanese told Sky News this morning it's a fairness measure that will impact a small number of people.
How will you personally be taxed under your proposed changes, PM, when you retire?
I would have to, out of the contribution, that is the payments that I receive, there would be greater taxation.
You mentioned there you don't have the support. If the Senate blocks the plan to tax unrealised gains this afternoon, will this remain Labor policy heading into the election?
Look, this is our position. Labor will always stand up for fairness and equity, but we'll announce our policies when we go through the election campaign. But at the moment, we have this plan before the Senate. It's been there for some time.
Joining me live now is Wilson Asset Management founder Geoff Wilson. Geoff, thanks for your time. How would a defined benefit scheme like the Prime Minister's be taxed, do you think, under this arrangement?
I think they've got no idea. So it's what's good for the goose should be good for the gander, and to me, I think it's incredibly disappointing. He talks about being equitable and fair. Not indexing. So there's an article today in the paper talking about the greatest wealth transfer from the youth to the older people by not indexing this $3 million amount, and taxing unrealised gains is, it'll destroy some people's lives, and it is, taxing a profit that you might never get is just illogical. It's inequitable and it's grossly unfair.
Do you think it is possible for those on defined benefits, like judges, like some politicians, those that have been here a long time, is there a way that they can do that? Because I spoke to the Deputy Prime Minister yesterday. He was adamant, like Mr Albanese, that there would be equitable treatment for those on those more generous traditional schemes.
Okay, well, let's say there is equitable treatment. One thing those schemes is they're indexed. So effectively, this policy they're bringing in is not indexed. And everyone says, $3 million is a lot of money. $550,000 is less money. If you're 18, when Anthony Albanese was 18, effectively, with inflation, the $3 million cap was effectively the same as $550,000 back in those days. So not having indexation means every young Australian, and in those days you didn't have to put 12% of your salary going into super. Broadly, without this indexation, every young Australian that works is going to get caught by this tax. And really the unfairness is the taxing of the unrealised gains. I was talking to an electrician just a couple of days ago. I think the wider community doesn't realise how bad it is. He had his self-managed super fund. He wasn't doing very well in the stock market, so he bought a property, and I said, look, you're going to have to pay tax on the value of that property. And he said, well, but I haven't sold it. And I said, no, you're going to be paying tax on the value each year. And he said to me, that's criminal. So to me, the broader community doesn't understand.
My understanding is the government doesn't have the numbers to get this through. You heard what the Prime Minister said to Pete Stefanovic. He hasn't recommitted to having this policy beyond the next election. So you would welcome that, obviously.
Well, 100%, but it's actually flawed legislation. They came out and said it was going to be taxed on realised gains because the big industry funds and the big super funds, the big end of town, they couldn't work it out. So they came out a day later and said they'd tax it on unrealised gains. And to me, that is so unfair.